Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast. And today I'm going to give you guys my selections, my picks for who I think should make the Pro Bowl this season. Real quick, though, before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that sub button. It would mean a lot to me. We've been gaining a lot of subscribers recently, so let's keep it up. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. We're starting here with quarterbacks. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the quarterbacks and some of the other positions, but first one, obvious. I don't think I'm getting any questions about this. It's Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, just such an elite talent. One of the best talents we've ever seen. Makes so many plays that are just ridiculous types of plays. You don't see them from anyone else in the NFL. Backpedaling, just throw anything you want. Off balance, Mahomes can hit it. He's fantastic. Got the confidence to pair with the talent, just does everything right, and just doesn't make a lot of bad decisions, as we see here with the interception numbers. So Mahomes, definitely an obvious pick. And then another obvious pick is Russell Wilson. He's been fantastic. A lot of people are a little low on him right now because of the interceptions, turnovers past couple weeks. I'm not concerned about it. It's Russell Wilson. We saw him turn it around a little bit in that Arizona game on Thursday night. And I mean, just similar to Mahomes, he adds so much to the offense. He is the offense for Seattle. They wouldn't be able to hang in games without Russell Wilson. Just such a well-rounded guy, can do it all. Very good touch passer, very good at making difficult throws, mobile. He's exactly what you want. Russell Wilson for sure deserves to be in here. Another guy definitely deserves it, Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. You know, I think that Rodgers, last year we were seeing him miss a little bit more throws than we were hoping, because in the past, he would make these ridiculous throws and hit them at a ridiculous rate. Went down a little bit last year, but definitely returning to form here this year, making a lot of those elite throws. Just fantastic performances from Rodgers. He's very mobile, similar to Wilson. He's just, he can operate in all sorts of ways, all sorts of systems. He is the system. Rodgers is great. Definitely deserves to be here. I think that's, I think a lot of these are very, unanimous. I think people agree with them. And I think, that's where here's where people might start to disagree. And I think one person that's just as obvious as all those four is Deshaun Watson. He's been fantastic this year. A lot of people have been sleeping on him. People may have woken up a little bit after that Patriots game where he played fantastically. But that's a representative of who Deshaun Watson is. Fantastic quarterback. That's what he does. Makes plays out of the system. When everything breaks down, Deshaun Watson, that's when he shines the brightest. So I love Deshaun Watson. Similar to these other guys, just super well-rounded. One thing I want to point out, he just played the Patriots. We know Bill Belichick, best coach in the NFL and arguably in history. He shuts down young quarterbacks. Mahomes struggles with him. Josh Allen struggles with him. Lamar Jackson struggles with him. We're going to see, is Kyler Murray going to struggle with him? We'll see. One thing I know, 2 times that Deshaun Watson has played Bill Belichick, we know what's happened. Deshaun Watson has lit up this Patriots defense. You can't stop him. Just the escapability is so hard to predict. Just the ability to make ridiculous throws. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he makes up with it with his touch passing. Just a fantastic player in Deshaun Watson. Totally deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. People, I'm glad they're waking up on him finally. And then number 5, give me Kyler Murray. I think there's some guys that definitely deserve it. Kyler Murray, and no one is more deserving than Kyler Murray this year. He's been great. Just elevated his game for sure, making a lot more throws. He missed some more throws this year than he does. He missed some more throws last year and he's making those throws this year. So that's great to see. I think I was expecting it. He came in here, had a great MVP. He's having an MVP caliber season. That's what I was hoping for. Is he going to be the third quarterback in a row, second year guy to win it? I don't think so. I think that's going to go to Mahomes, but definitely he's putting up a fight. He's doing a great job. Murray certainly deserves it. He's taken this Arizona offense to a new level, makes them contenders. And then this 6th vote is where it gets a little more challenging for me, because I think I'm not just going to chalk the top 6 players at each position. I think the Pro Bowl is about a little bit more than that. I think there's some story involved. What were we expecting going into the year? And if you saw my quarterback rankings, you would know that I had Lamar Jackson as the 6th best quarterback in the league, and I believe that he is the 6th best quarterback in the league. But I mean, if we're just looking at this year's play, I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have been pretty equal. I mean, you can throw in Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, but I mean, I'm gonna give it to Josh Allen here, and I do think he's a little bit worse than Lamar Jackson still. But this year, their play has been pretty equal. I mean, we just look at the stories of both these guys, and Josh Allen. He went from being a guy that's, hovering in the 20s of my rankings to a guy that's now in the top 6, 7 in my rankings. He's improved in a lot of areas in his game. His accuracy has gone up. Just his deep ball throwing, decision making has really improved. He's been fantastic this year. I've loved what I've seen from Josh Allen. I think he totally deserves to make the Pro Bowl. I love Lamar Jackson. I really like Derek Carr also, Justin Herbert. And I think Lamar is still number 6, but I got to give it to Josh Allen. He's been great this year. So my picks are Mahomes, Wilson, Murray, Rodgers, Watson, and Allen at quarterback. Now, running back, I'm not going to talk quite as much about these guys because I think we all know how important the quarterback position is. Just, the most important position in sports, but running back, not as much. Still, I'm going to give the credit to where it's due, and that's Derrick Henry is the first guy where this credit is very much due. He is the heart and soul of this Titans offense. They run on him. He just creates so much. He opens up so much because you got to focus so much on stopping him. He's a beast. He wears the defense down, opens up the play action for him. He is amazing. He's very effective as well. So Derrick Henry totally deserves it. Dalvin Cook, another guy very deserving, very similar. I think Dalvin Cook's maybe the best pure runner in the NFL. I mean, Derrick Henry's the best strength, power runner, but Dalvin Cook just super shifty, able to cut back, with power also. He's just a very well-rounded back. Cook does it all for the Vikings. He is the heart and soul of that offense as well. And then another guy, I think these are the 3 most obvious picks for sure, is definitely Alvin Kamara. Just really talk about the heart and soul of an offense. Alvin Kamara was the definition of that when Michael Thomas went down for the Saints. He was the number 1 rusher. He was the number 1 receiver. He was everything for them. Just been elite this year. Totally deserves the Pro Bowl. And then I think we get a little bit of drop off. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt, though, as my 4th pick. I think, I would love to give it to Nick Chubb, actually, but he's been out for a little too long. Nick Chubb is great, in my opinion, though. Definitely one of the best backs in the NFL. But Kareem Hunt stepped in his place, did a great job in an offense that's very run-centric. He was able to get the ball moving in the screen game as well. He's a great receiving back, and he does a good job out of the backfield as well. So, definitely been impressed with Kareem Hunt. I think he totally deserves it. Another guy, Josh Jacobs, I think he deserves it also. But, he's been great for the Raiders. They give him the opportunity. He delivers. And then, my 6th pick is James Robinson. I've been impressed with him. I don't think a lot of people were expecting this season from him. And I think he still might be getting overshadowed a little bit because, we look at Jacksonville, they're awful. What is the one thing they're doing well? It's running the ball. It's because of James Robinson behind a not great offensive line. He's doing work, giving him the carries. He's doing the job. So I'm taking James Robinson. So my picks are Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs, and James Robinson for running backs. And then wide receivers, this might take a second to load, but there we go. I think Devontae Adams is a guy that I'm definitely looking at as my first pick here. Just been fantastic all year long. Sorry, my email popped up. But, Devontae Adams has been great all year. Really established that connection with Aaron Rodgers. Just elite at creating separation underneath. So I like Devontae Adams here. And then I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins as my 2nd pick. Just been similar to Devontae Adams. I think he's slightly better than Devontae Adams. Just talk about adding a dimension to an offense. He definitely did that with Arizona. Gives Kyler Murray that number 1 target that he can always rely on. Just creates separation underneath. Great guy getting contested catches. He's a downfield threat when he wants to be also. So DeAndre Hopkins, I think Diggs is definitely a guy I'm looking at also as being on this list. Just so great. It's Diggs, we were talking about DeAndre Hopkins coming to the Cardinals offense. Diggs has done just as well with this Bills offense. I mean, he's added this complete new layer to this Bills offense with Josh Allen. He's been fantastic. Just talk about all-around receiver. He does it all. Creates separation, gets open. And he's given Josh Allen that guy that when the play breaks down, you can find Diggs. Diggs will create something, and I really value that. He's my 5th best wide receiver in the NFL. He's been great this year. Added a completely new dimension to the Bills. Then, my 4th pick, I'm actually going to give to Julio Jones of the Atlanta Falcons. Still the best wide receiver in the NFL. People can't sleep on that. Just does it all. He's DK Metcalf with the route running and just the experience. Better physical. Better. Go up and grab it guy. Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the NFL. But, talk about Julio Jones Jr. We're talking about DK Metcalf, just freak athlete, moving down the field, just creates so much mismatches for the defense. Who are you going to guard this freak athlete who can run 4.3 at that size? We've seen a couple of guys, only a couple of guys can do it in the league, I think. He's been fantastic. Just, lacking in some areas, but he's added a completely new dimension to the Seahawks offense, and that's huge. So I like DK Metcalf. And then there's a lot of ways I could go with this last one, but I'm giving it to my guy, Terry McLaurin. He's been elite this year. I think he's the 7th best wide receiver in the NFL. I think he's really showing that this year. And, I like Terry a lot. I think if he was in a different offense, we'd get to see him shine even more because everyone knows where the ball's going. It's going to Terry McLaurin, but he still puts up numbers. He still performs. So I like Terry McLaurin a lot. So once again, my picks, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, and Terry McLaurin. Hard to leave off some guys, Tyreek Hill. He's always going to be up there close to the Pro Bowl voting. Lockett, Ridley are having great seasons. Justin Jefferson, even the rookie, are having great seasons. So it's hard to leave some guys off here, but I think these are the guys that I think deserve it the most. And then, fullback, I've already voted. I'm not going to talk about it. These are my guys. I'm going to Juszczyk, Ham, Yanovich, Ingold, Sherman, and Ricard are my picks for the Pro Bowl. So yeah, I got a couple positions like that where I'm not going to spend my time talking about them too much, but I'll show you my picks anyway. And then at tight end, the obvious one, we just look at the yards here. Usually I'm not a fan of using yards as a stat, but I think it's pretty telling here. Travis Kelce's been the best tight end in the NFL this year. He's been fantastic all year long. Just adds a new dimension, adds a completely, different receiving aspect. He can block. Just another guy you got to worry about on that Kansas City offense. He's elite. Combined with Patrick Mahomes, and that offense is just fantastic. He's shown that why he's, Kittle's been injured, but one of the best the tight ends in the league. So definitely deserves a vote. Then Darren Waller, I think, deserves a vote also. He's a guy that, you don't have that stud receiver for the Raiders, but Waller acts as it. He is the guy that's the target. He's the guy that Derek Carr wants to target. He's the main guy in that offense. Really opens up the things for the wide receivers on that team. So Darren Waller deserves a vote. I think Mark Andrews deserves a vote as well. Similar to what I was talking about with Darren Waller. Just, Mark Andrews is the target. Opens things up for the receivers who aren't the most talented. So Mark Andrews not having as great of a year as last year, but I think that's due to the fact that the Ravens don't have receiver talent. Triple team Mark Andrews, I think that has something to do with it. Has dropped some balls a little more than last year, but still very solid. Great red zone target for Lamar Jackson, and he's a great route running tight end. And then I'm gonna go T.J. Hawkinson. Looks like I'm just going chalk here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the yards. But T.J. Hawkinson's been very impressive in this Lions offense. Definitely stepped things up. Impressed me in a lot of ways. And then, there's multiple ways that I could go here. I think I'm gonna go Noah Fant here for the Broncos. He's been very good. just we've seen a couple injuries on that Broncos team, and he's stepped up in a big way, giving Drew Lock that target that he wants, that big tight end target. Noah Fant's definitely stepped up in that role. And I like Hunter Henry. I mean, for similar reasons, just been a great target for Justin Herbert all year. I think there's a number of guys. I considered Eric Ebron. I mean, we've seen Gronk really step things up. I mean, Ebron, I think he's definitely been great this year. I think it's just, I mean, that might be a little bit of a result because of, you got Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Juju to guard. So then you just slip Eric Ebron out and throw him a touchdown and get him the ball, because, I mean, that's the person they last expect to get the ball. But, I mean, I think there's a lot of guys that are competing here, but I got to go with Kelsey, obvious pick, Waller, Andrews, Hawkinson, Henry, and Fant as my tight end picks. And then, offensive line, I have pre-picked these. I'm just going to give you guys my picks. I've got Armstead, Bakhtiari, Brown, Ramczyk, Laramie Tunsil, and I'm actually going with the rookie, Tristan Wirfs. These guys, they've all very much impressed me. I think there's a lot of guys that have done a spectacular job at tackle, one of the hardest positions, one of the most important positions to play. But yeah, those are my picks for tackle. And then at guard, I picked Quentin Nelson, obvious pick, Ali Marpet, Zach Martin, Brandon Scherf, Wyatt Teller. There's a lot of guys. I mean, Wyatt Teller's really stepped things up for the Browns. Didn't do so much with the Bills. I mean, and then Jenkins I went with. So those are my picks at guard. If you wanted me to talk about these a little more, I'm sorry about this. I only have so much time in the video, and I'd rather spend some time talking about, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. I mean, not to say that this offensive linemen are not important, but I think you agree with me that it's more fun to listen to me talk about these skill positions on offense. But I like Ryan Jensen, Jason Kelsey, Kelly, Linder, Lindsley, and Treader to make the Pro Bowl for me at the center position. And then those are my offensive picks. And then defense, this is where we start. I'll describe these. I'm not just going to skip over them like I did the offensive line. So defensive end, I think there's a lot of interesting ways you can go with this one. I'm going to go obvious. Myles Garrett, he's been fantastic for the Browns this year. I think he's top 3, edge rushing guy, just stud for the Browns. And then I'm going to go with Emmanuel Ogbah for the Dolphins. He's been an essential part of that defense. I mean, he's been a guy that really has been able to get pressure. And he's a reason that defense has been so good this year. And then, I mean, there's a lot of ways that we could go with this. I'm going to go with Cam Jordan of the New Orleans Saints here. He's just been such a cornerstone of that defense for such a long time, and there's a reason why. He just provides consistent pressure. He's a smart player. He does the right thing. He doesn't make any dumb mistakes. He knows where to push the quarterback, when to do a lot of things. I like Cam Jordan a lot. I don't love the way they organize this. I think there's some guys that are in the wrong spots, but I give Cam Jordan some credit here. I'm going to go with Brian Burns here for the Panthers. Been elite this year. I think he's underrated by a lot of guys. And so those are my first 4. And then there's a lot of ways we could go here. I'm actually going to go with Chase Young. He's made an immediate impact for this Washington football team. He's been great. I think, he's not been quite Nick Bosa, like a lot of people were expecting him to be, but he has been very close to it. So, I've liked a lot of what I've seen there. And, I'm gonna give my last one to Stephon Tuitt, who's been very good this year as well. Just another part of that Steelers defense. I mean, if you'll notice that a lot of Steelers guys are going to make this list for me. He's been very, very good. I mean, we can see, he's got the forced fumbles. He's making plays on defense. He's usually doing the right thing. So I like Emmanuel Ogbah, Myles Garrett, Stephon Tuitt, Brian Burns, Cam Jordan, and Chase Young as my defensive end picks for the Pro Bowl. Now moving on to defensive tackle. Load. I think there's a lot of ways we can go. I know I've said that multiple times. Obvious pick, Aaron Donald. Let's be honest. best player in the NFL. I mean, we're just looking at the sack numbers here. He's miles ahead of a lot of people. I'm going to go with Chris Jones, also another stud for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he just clogs up that middle, and he's definitely the bright spot of the rushing defense. I mean, I think rushing defense for the Chiefs is not great, but the interior is solid because of Chris Jones. I'll go with Calais Campbell. He's really made an impact on this Baltimore team. Injured past couple weeks, but he was spectacular those first weeks for the Ravens for sure. I've liked what Quinnen Williams doing. I'll come back to that. I'll see. I'm going to give my pick to DeForest Buckner, though, for the Colts. He's been fantastic. Definitely, I think, worth that pick for DeForest Buckner. Been very disruptive all year long. And then Grady Jarrett, I think, has done a good job for the Falcons. Just a team that doesn't have too much going for them on defense. Grady Jarrett is definitely a bright spot on that defense. So we got 5, and I mean, there's ways we could go here. Let me just look down here. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm going to give it to Quinnen Williams. He's been impressive to me. He's been one of the bright spots on this Jets defense. I think he deserves it. So my picks are Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Grady Jarrett, Calais Campbell, DeForest Buckner, and Quinnen Williams. So those are my picks for defensive tackle. Now we got interior linebackers, inside linebackers, my bad. This is interesting. Where do we start? I'm going to go with Roquan Smith to start. He's been fantastic for the Bears. I mean, he always is. And then Eric Kendricks, always solid for the Vikings. Not been quite as good as last year, but he has been very, very good. Just making plays in a depleted Vikings defense as well. And then Bobby Wagner. I'm going to give it to Bobby Wagner. Always, for years, past decade, he's been an elite guy. He's been on this list. So definitely deserves that. I'm going to give it to Devin White also. Just Devin White and Levante David. I think both of them deserve it. I think they're both, reasons why this Buccaneers defense is as good as it is. So I got to give them a lot of credit. So those are 5 already. I can't believe it. There's a lot of really good guys at this position. You got Patrick Queen. I don't think he deserves it right now. Fred Warner is very underrated. Tremaine Edmonds hasn't been quite as good this year as he was last year, but still been very good. Anyone else I want to talk about down here? Oh, I got to give it to Darius Leonard. I can't believe I almost missed that. He's been great this year. He's this heart and soul of the Colts defense. Totally deserves it. So yeah, my picks at inside linebacker: Roquan Smith, Eric Kendricks, Bobby Wagner, Devin White, Levante David, and Darius Leonard. I mean, Demario Davis is a guy that I left off. I don't like to see. Fred Warner, Tremaine Edmonds, all guys that I think were close to making it, just didn't quite make the cut. And then outside linebacker, this will be interesting for sure. There's a lot of talent at this position. TJ Watt certainly deserves it, playing at an elite level. And then his teammate, Bud Dupree. I mean, I talked about we're going to see a lot of Steelers players on this list. There's a reason they've been spectacular all year long. These two guys are the reason. A lot of time, the pressure they can get on the quarterback is elite. You got it coming from both sides. So both of those guys definitely deserve it for me. I got to go Zadarius Smith still. Great last year. He's been very good for the Packers this year. One of the bright spots. That's one of the only bright spots. You got him, Jair Alexander, but in the front seven, they haven't been too great. But Zadarius Smith has been. So got to give him a lot of credit. Got to go with Khalil Mack. Just stud. I think him, Aaron Donald, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, those are the best guys of all these guys for sure. And then there's a lot of options here at the top. I think you can go Jason Pierre-Paul, I think, is one guy that I'm definitely going to throw in there. He's been very good this year, stepped it up for this Buccaneers team. And, maybe I can go with his teammate Shaq Barrett. Bradley Chubb. Shaq Barrett or Bradley Chubb. I'm actually going to go with Shaq Barrett. I think he's been a little bit better this year than Bradley Chubb. I've liked a lot of what I've seen. I mean, we talk about it, Levante David and Devin White making it, and then we got Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. This defense of the Buccaneers is elite, very, very good defense. So yeah, those are my outside linebackers. TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, elite. Zadarius Smith, Jason Pierre-Paul, Khalil Mack, Shaquille Barrett are my picks. And then on to cornerback, and this is a graphic that I made the other day talking about my top cornerbacks, and there's a lot of interesting things we can talk about here. I don't like how they're organizing it by interceptions because I don't think that tells the full story. But we're just looking at, I think this depends on completely how you want to look at it, because if we look at how these players have done this year, it's a little different than just looking at how good they actually are. And so we're going to find a lot of guys that might not have any interceptions might end up on our list. So one guy I think definitely deserves it. I'm going to start with him. Jair Alexander. He's been fantastic this year. Just shut down so many guys. He's been what Gilmore was last year for the New England Patriots. Shuts down that number one guy. Does it almost as well as anyone else in the NFL. Sticky man coverage. That's what Jair Alexander does. Very good at adjusting the zone as well. So he's my fourth best cornerback. He's played at an elite level this year. So I like Jair Alexander. Let's see. Okay. Marlon Humphrey for sure deserves it to me. Second best corner in the NFL. We're talking about sticky man coverage, as I talked about with Jair Alexander. Nobody does it in the league better than Marlon Humphrey. Just, stays on his guy, runs with him. Very physical, sometimes at his own detriment. We saw a pass interference call this past weekend against Marlon Humphrey when he was covering A.J. Brown, but he has been very good all year. The man coverage, he's been getting better with his zone coverage as well. So I like Marlon Humphrey there. Jalen Ramsey, easy pick. See, we're talking about some of the top corners in the league here only have one interception. When some other guys have 3, 4, 5, 6, interceptions are not everything. Ramsey, he's a shutdown island guy. I think he's the best cornerback in the NFL. Just does such a fantastic job. A physical specimen. Can adjust to all schemes. Makes the right decisions. That's what Jalen Ramsey is. And I think he totally deserves it. Really a reason that this Rams defense has been as successful as they are. I mean, Troy Hill has been pretty solid as well. I don't think we can pick him, though. I mean, there's been a lot of good cornerback play this year. I mean, I could go on and on about a lot of these guys. I mean, Xavier Howard is up there for sure. He's done great. Kendall Fuller is... Ooh. Who do I want to pick? I'm going to go with James Bradbury, though. I think he is a guy that I'm going to pick. He's stepped it up. I talked about this Giants defense being a surprise. And James Bradbury is a big reason why. I mean, he's really stepped things up in the secondary for this Giants team. He's been very impressive. Really, making smart decisions, not letting too many guys past him, not letting the receivers get position. I've really been impressed by that. We'll see if he can keep it up for the rest of the year. But definitely great signs. Marshawn Lattimore's been a little disappointing this year. I'm not going to pick him. He really struggled earlier in the year. It's kind of hard for me to find all these guys in the middle of there's so many cornerbacks I'm trying to find. I think Tre'Davious White, I think he's still up there with the best cornerbacks in the NFL. He missed some time. I'm still going to give him the nod, though. I think he deserves it. Just such a good corner for the Bills. We saw their secondary really, really struggled without him this year. I think the value of Tre'Davious White in this defense is cannot be overstated. He's hugely important. And then I still got to give it to Gilmore. I think, Gilmore, he's not been quite as good this year, but he's still shut down. He's still going to shut down your number one guy. Just still a fantastic man coverage guy. Puts you on an island. I have him as the third best cornerback in the NFL. So they're my picks at cornerback. James Bradbury, Jair Alexander, Stephon Gilmore, Marlon Humphrey, Jalen Ramsey, and Tre'Davious White. It's hard to leave off Kendall Fuller. Some other guys. Carlton Davis has been having a great year also. Xavier Howard. So, there's so many good players at the cornerback position right now. Strong safety, I don't want to be running this video too long. I'm going to go Eddie Jackson, I think deserves it. He's been great for the Bears this year. I'm going to go Budda Baker. Just done a great job. He's been great instinctually, making the right reads all year long, being where he needs to be for the most part, and doing a good job coming up in the box as well when they ask it of him. And then Chuck Clark, very underrated, I think. Von Bell's done a pretty good job. I still got to give it to Tyrann Mathieu as one of the guys. I think he's still one of the best in the league for sure. Don't sleep on him. And let's see. I think Adrian Amos is up there. Very good. Okay, so we have 3 picks right now. We have 3 more to make. I think Kareem Jackson deserves to make it. Jordan Poyer. And I'm going to give it to... Who do I want to give my last pick to? Oh, Harrison Smith. I'm going to give it to Harrison Smith. I got to give it to Harrison Smith. There's a lot of guys. I hard to leave off Tremaine Edmonds, Adrian Amos. There's a lot of guys that have stepped up, done a good job. Chuck Clark's underrated. Kenny Vaccaro's done a good job this year for the Titans. But, Budda Baker, Jordan Poyer, Eddie Jackson, Kareem Jackson, 2 Jacksons there. Threw me off for a second. Tyrann Mathieu and Harrison Smith are my picks at strong safety. And then free safety is got to be Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, not having as historic of a season as he did last year, but still just making the right plays, being in the right place at the right time, reading the quarterback very well. He's done that all year. Justin Simmons, same thing. I think his value to this Broncos defense is huge. He shuts off a lot of the field. He makes a lot of quarterbacks have to rethink what they're going to do. Just very valuable to this Broncos defense. Jesse Bates, same thing. I know he's not on the best team, but still, he's the cornerstone of this Bengals defense. He makes the right plays at the right time, reads the quarterback very well, just does a great job. You can ask him to do anything, and he'll do it. You can ask him to get up in the box, and he will do it at will. And then we got... Oh, wait, I just realized we forgot to give it to Jamal Adams this year. I'm fine to leave him off. He has missed some time, but I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that I had not put him on there. He's been, he's still very good. Got do it all, strong safety. He's missed some time though, and so there's a lot of guys that deserve it. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to these 3. Sorensen's been good. I'm gonna give it to Julian Blackmon. He's been fantastic for the Colts. Very much impressive as a rookie. And then another rookie, I'm going to give it to Antoine Winfield. Just, he plays everywhere. You can ask him to do anything. I've been talking about a lot of these guys that have been able to do anything. And I think that's a characteristic of the best safeties in the NFL. It's being able to do anything. And Antoine Winfield certainly does that. You can bring him out the box, have him stop the run, have him, play cornerback, let him play a traditional safety role. He can do it all. He's been a steal for the Buccaneers thus far. And then the final pick, we got Sorensen, we got Marcus Williams, Quandre Diggs. A lot of good options here. I'm going to go with Marcus Williams for the Saints. He had a great year last year, not been quite as good. He's really pulled things together the past couple weeks. He's done a very good job. I think he's an underrated player for the Saints, so I like him a lot. So those are my defensive picks. You can go back in the video if you want to check, or if you want a reminder on them, or maybe you just stopped by for the strong safeties or something like that. But you can go back in there earlier in the video. I'm not gonna really go over my long snapper, punter, whatever picks. I already did them. I'll just show them to you. Younghoe Koo, Rodrigo Blankenship, Jason Sanders, Daniel Carlson. I'm going to give it to Justin Tucker and Harrison Butker as well, the 2 best kickers in the league. And then punter, I'll go with Johnny Hecker. Sam Cook, Tress Way, Thomas Morstead. I'm fine with... I like Dixon of Seahawks and then Bailey for the Patriots. I think they both do a very good job with what they do. Yeah. Okay, well, those are my my punter picks if you were interested in that. Then, yeah, we got return specialist here. And then we got long snapper picks. Hard to judge long snappers, really. I'm not into watching long snappers on film, but they deserve a lot of credit. And then special teamers. These were my picks. So, yeah. Those are my picks for the Pro Bowl. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, until next time, peace.